Hi, everyone. So this is Christina from One Connected Love. I'm here to do a collective romance reading. So this reading is valid for when you see it. So I'm recording it on July 11th. So it's valid when you see it. You know, if you stumble upon it months or years later, it's for you now. And yeah, so this reading, is meant to be for the collective twin flame movements, the twin flame collective. It's going to provide an overview of what's going on in the collective. Some things may or may not apply completely to your situation. If you would like a reading specific to your situation, I invite you to book an ultimate romance reading or a one connection reading from our website, oneconnectedlove.com. The links are below. So this is basically a almost complete version of the ultimate romance reading. I've just left out, I usually do a few more cards for the ones that I do for clients. So if you would like that for yourself, I invite you to go book one. All right, so starting out, the collective energy for the Twin Flame Collective is love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Yeah, so what I feel about this card is the Twin Flame Collective, both the masculine and the feminine, are really learning that you really can't make progress on your journey in life without a deep level of self-respect. What does that really mean? It means that you love yourself and put yourself first. You don't want to put your twin flame first because that's not the appropriate order. The appropriate order is, the divine, the universe, God, whatever it is you believe in. Then yourself, which you're actually one with that, with that is divine, with that is divine, and then your twin flame, and then everyone else. And the reason for that is if you don't put yourself first, you're really going to be giving from an empty cup. And so this card is really inviting you to ask yourself, where have you been leaking your energy, the energy from your union, by not loving yourself first? And so, since your twin flame mirrors you, your twin flame is going to mirror, a space where you're leaking your energy by not loving yourself first. So if you don't put yourself first, for example, you might find that your twin flame also, doesn't put your union first. And so, yeah, for those of you, working through twin flame separation, this can feel, like a challenge, right? But that is the journey, is learning that your twin flame journey is actually your journey towards self-love. So yeah, let's look at what's going on with the divine feminine collective. So it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. Yeah. So what I've been seeing with a lot of divine feminine clients and in the divine feminine collective right now is that I think there's a lot of fear of really going all in on your twin flame journey. There's a fear of trusting that it's safe to love. And like, what does this really mean? Well, it can be a fear of vulnerability, right? And being vulnerable does not mean not having boundaries. And I think a lot of the time people are afraid to be vulnerable because they've had their boundaries crossed. And so a lot of the work that we do in restoring our sense of, like, a healthy sense of self is really restoring our awareness of healthy boundaries. And so once you learn how to do that, and once you like make the choice to do that, you recognize it's actually safe to love because um, you know, your boundaries don't need to be violated in order to love. You don't need to be taken from, you don't need to take from yourself to give to another. And so it's safe to trust your journey. It's safe to open up here because when you're doing it from a genuine place, um, the love that you give is going to be returned to you, and your love never leaves you. So a supporting energy here is surrender to inner peace. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet, meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. This is from the Power of Surrender deck. Yeah, so this is really, I think, building on that energy where basically when you allow yourself to just be in a place of peace and an awareness that your love doesn't leave you, then you are more willing to give in your relationships. So a common way of looking at the divine feminine, the divine masculine dynamic is that the divine masculine gives and the divine feminine receives. But this is, you know, giving and receiving are truly the same. It's the same action. You cannot give without receiving. You can't receive without giving. And so in order to really love, you must be willing to give and receive in relationships. And so this surrender to inner peace card is really making me think of like, you know, a fear of letting others in, a fear of being vulnerable. When you allow yourself to really heal in that space, and you can do that using the mirror exercise, which is linked in the links below, then you can actually, you know, you can actually allow yourself to really open up in your relationships because you know that there's no need to be afraid. All right, and so the next card is Rosetta. You have a gift for working with young people, and your divine purpose involves helping, teaching, or parenting children. Yeah. So altogether, this energy from the Divine Feminine Collective, what I'm really feeling is, you know, it's safe to be feminine. It's safe to really surrender to that deep feminine peace and stillness, and to give and receive love in your relationships, to be warm and loving and nurturing in your relationships. And that starts with your relationship with yourself. And as it relates to the divine masculine, you know, the more that you surrender to your natural feminine energy, the more magnetic you'll be to the divine masculine. It's just a natural effect. And you know, you surrender to your divine femininity by making the choice to surrender to who you really are inside, and that will naturally emanate as you claim yourself on a deeper level. All right, so let's take a look at the divine masculine collective. The first card is Flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. This may be triggering to some who are moving through karmic situations, but there's no need to be concerned. A karmic situation, you know, a karmic partner, people often attract karmic partners in order to move through a lesson. So basically, you know, karma is basically lessons to work through. That's really all it is. And it can be easy to work through a lesson, or it can be hard if you put up a lot of resistance. And so I only brought this up because I feel like people, you know, there's a lot of worry moving through the divine feminine collective that the divine masculine is, you know, maybe flirting a bit too much and not bringing enough energy within. But this is really just, a place where you're being called to love yourself. Like all these places where you're worried about getting attention from another person, those are places that you can bring energy back within and love yourself in that space. And so what I really feel that this card pertains to is the divine masculine is really, just like the divine feminine, he's really stepping deeper into his capacity to love. He's been hurt too. And he's really stepping deeper into his capacity to give of himself. Like I'm really focused more on this part of the card where it says, extend your lighthearted energy to others. So I really feel like this is the divine masculine learning how to give in relationships. And that's not necessarily like romantic relationships. It's all relationships in his life, right? Because every relationship in your life is a reflection of the relationship that you have with yourself and with the divine. And so, yeah, both the divine feminine and divine masculine, they're really working on feeling comfortable giving and receiving in relationships. And the more that they do that, the more that they find that life gives back to them. So yeah, let's take a look at the next card. Surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within. Silence can heal and replenish you. Yeah, and so I feel like the divine masculine is really, the divine masculine collective in particular, is going through a big introspective period. This has been coming up with a lot of our clients as well, that, there's a lot of shifts happening right now throughout the collective, and the divine masculine is really having to go within and assess who he really is, what he really wants, what he's here to do in his life. Everybody has a divine life purpose. And yeah, it's really important that, the divine feminine really respects that, right? And so this is this space where, I was guided to discuss boundaries earlier in the reading. And I really feel like this is a space where the divine feminine can really learn to practice, respecting boundaries here. The divine masculine needs a little bit of time to really go within and feel in his heart and connect with the divine. And that's not really, that's not something to be worried about. That's actually a very, very good thing. And so the divine feminine, anytime you feel like a silence or a space from your twin flame, it's not an invitation for you to start worrying. It's actually just a space for you to begin loving yourself more deeply in that space if you're feeling distant from your twin flame there. And then pretty soon you'll realize that it's okay if your divine masculine is, wanting to go within and just be with his feelings. You can feel peaceful about that. You can feel peaceful at the fact that he's connecting with the divine. And as you respect his own relationship with the divine, your relationship will strengthen. And, he'll be able to express himself more willingly with you as well, because you are respecting him on a deeper level. And so, yeah, this actually calls back to this card, the love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Yeah, and so this is really an invitation on both sides to release codependency and to really stand strong in the fact that your relationship with yourself and with the divine is what brings you closer to your twin flame. Right. And the last card, Isaiah. It's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes. Yeah, as I mentioned, there's a lot of changes and shifts happening in the collective. There's a lot of changes happening in the collective. And really, this is really a time where people are needing to go within, and people are needing to really strengthen their connection to Source, God, the divine, and really, you know, really get a feel for who they really are. And the way that the divine masculine is expressing this right now is through both some inner contemplation as well as using this time to give a lot in his life purpose, in his relationships, and that's really helping him find out who he really is. And as he finds out who he really is, it makes him that much more clear and that much, that much easier. It's that much easier for him to identify his divine feminine and recognize her for who she is. All right, and so the concluding energy for this reading is engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. Yeah. So as as both of you really deepen in your capacity to love yourselves and love each other, you're really being called to get clear on what it is you really want, and you're always being invited to a deeper level of commitment to your spiritual journey. And what does that really look like? Well, it just looks like, ultimately your path is, you're being guided to your own personal heaven on earth. And so to commit deeper on your spiritual journey means to commit more deeply to God. It means to, commit to releasing illusion from your life. You actually are supposed to feel good all the time. You actually are supposed to have everything you desire. And if you don't have something you desire, it's because you're working through an illusion that tells you can't have it. And that is like the expansion of your consciousness, is clearing these illusions. And so, right now, both the divine feminine and the divine masculine are really working through, these blocks to love that prevent them from really going all in with their relationship and with their journey. And as they move through that, they're actually being called to a deeper level of commitment. They're clearing the blocks to allow them to step into that next level of your journey. All right, so I've got a few other cards that I like to pull to support this reading. So I'm going to start with a Whispers of Love card from the Whispers of Love Oracle. It's card number 37. Act as if your partner is here. Whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you, so you will always consider them. Yeah. So the truth is that your twin flame is with you all the time. Because your twin flame, your love of loves, you know who this person is in your heart. And that love exists within your heart. And so don't act from a place of lack, from a place of concern that your partner isn't with you. You're being called to really act as if your partner is here. And what I mean by that also is, if you were really sure of your relationship, if you felt really confident in your relationship, you wouldn't really worry if you didn't hear from them fast enough, or you wouldn't really worry if they were busy with work. You would just respect that and recognize that, your relationship is safe. And, it doesn't have to be that way all the time, but sometimes your journey does call for that, for there to be a little bit of space. And that's just one example. And it's those times where you're really being called to bring love within and to really respect yourself and love yourself first. And so, the quickest way to really attract your twin flame is to be really confident in that connection. And the more that, you nurture the true connection within, the more your external reality is going to reflect that. And at some point there really wouldn't be any need for there to be these spaces, because you would be so sure in your so deep in your capacity to be with each other, that it would be so harmonious that you really don't need to spend lots of time apart, because you're actually meant to be together. All right, so let's pull a card from the Crystal Angels. Amethyst, revealing your true self. As you allow others to know the real you, you'll feel loved for who you truly are. Yeah, this journey is all about self-love. It's really not about another person. Your twin flame is you, right? We're all one. Your twin flame is essentially like you're one consciousness, but we're all parts of a whole, right? Like all of God's children. And so yeah, this card really, to me, I feel like it's calling back to this theme of love yourself first. And I really feel like this is what both sides are working on right now, is releasing these illusions that prevent you from being your authentic self, and just stepping forward and really claiming who you really are. And as you reveal your true self to yourself, you can recognize your twin flame much more clearly. All right, and I'm going to pull a card from the Rumi Oracle, which is one of my favorite decks. Celestial Rose of Ma, card number 10. So I'm going to go ahead and read the poem from the book for that one. The taste of bitterness becomes sweetness in love. The searching in the dark finds the light of faith revealed in love. Love transforms thistles into jasmine. Love layers heaven and gifts us with wings to soar into its mystery. Love transforms our every thought into a desire of the heart. O love, how divine is your luring. Beauty flows from your unseen face. Your very nature is radiant with joy. You manifest vibrant hues in every flower. Your touch dazzles all creation. Every particle is attracted toward you, longing to unite and dwell in you. Yeah, so I really feel like this is really about a transformation. That's really kind of an energy that's moving through the collective, is this energy of transformation. And it's about recognizing that everything in your life, love is the only thing that is real. And everything in your life is transformed when you choose to bring love into that space. And that's what's happening within your twin flame union as well. The more you choose to love yourself first. Yeah, the taste of bitterness becomes sweetness in love. So yeah, this is a space where we're all being called to really take these places that don't feel good in our unions and really bring love into that space. And that is really the ascension process, is loving yourself in these spaces where you're not having something that completely fulfills your desires, and that is an ever expansive process, and it's a fun process, and it's easy when you allow it to be. All right, and so the last card I like to pull is an Angel Answers card. So I invite you to ask a question in your heart if you have one, and I'm going to flip it over now. The card is wait. So whatever that means to you, you might ask yourself, well, why am I being called to wait? God doesn't really wait. maybe you're moving through a waiting period because you're not quite sure what you want yet, right? Because your choice is extremely powerful. And when you're not sure what you want, that's what kind of holds things back. But it's as soon as you're sure of what you want, as soon as you're clear, it's right there. And actually, the card at the bottom of the angel the card at the bottom of the angel answers deck was take action. So what I really feel is coming through here is God never tells you, like, hold up, you can't have what you want, you know? Wait is usually an invitation to get more clear. Get more clear on what it is you desire. Commit more deeply to your desires. Love yourself more deeply. You know, get really clear in this space. And then as soon as you're clear, it just completely lines up for you. So yeah, I really feel like this is a really powerful reading. There's a lot going on, but it's a lot of good stuff, a lot of transformative energy going on in the collective. So if you enjoyed this reading, please like and subscribe. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and seeing if any parts of this resonated with you. Yeah, I'll be doing more readings like this in the future. Like I said, this is a similar spread to what I do for the Ultimate Romance reading. And so if you're interested in getting one of those, feel free to go to our website and go ahead and get one for yourself. I'm looking forward to doing them for lots of you. So yeah, and if you're interested in Twin Flame coaching, we also do Twin Flame coaching. You can check that out in our website as well. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in another video, and have a wonderful week.